What is going on, guys? We are back on the new campaign trail. It's been a while since the last upload. I've been busy. I am sorry. But we're back here now on the game, ready to take on another election. So last time, we tackled the 1988 election as Michael Dukakis won against George H.W. Bush. And today I figured we try to make another loser president. And I thought, what better place to do that than the 1960 election, where the guy who everyone thought was going to win didn't win. Very close election. So obviously Richard Nixon, incumbent, or not the incumbent, the vice president under Dwight Eisenhower, very popular. And he loses to John F. Kennedy. We all know who Kennedy is, no introduction. Alright, so now we gotta decide our running mate. So we have Henry Cabot Lodge, who's the main guy. Everett Dirksen? Minority leader, economic conservative, and isolationist. That's never going to work. Well, we got Nelson Rockefeller. We got Barry Gold. Okay. So it's really between Lodge and Rockefeller here. And you know what? I think we're going to go Rockefeller. We're going to... Kennedy will probably still be able to hold on to most of the South. But we're going to try and just get everything else. So we start off with the lead. Pretty big lead right now. Not on the popular vote, though. Alright, what kind of tone will you attempt to set in the fall? Pledge as much as possible to continue the policy of Eisenhower. Also emphasize my experience. Emphasize to concern Orthodox. It's important that we need to act. Guess we'll do this. Yes, okay. Pretty good. Kenny making up a little ground. What do you have to say about the selection of Nelson Rockefeller? Yes. I know this is a bold step, but I believe Rockefeller represents the future of the party. Now, I believe he will be a dynamic leader of this party and the nation for many years, which he is. Alright, he liked hearing that. So we're writing off the South, but we don't care about the South. As long as we win every other state, we'll be fine. Are you satisfied with the economy and economic policies of the country over the past 8 years? We must do better. Our president has a hard on money policy, which, yeah, we don't want to do that. We need more spending and lower interest rates. That's kind of a very Democrat liberal answer in this game. We're on the right track economically. We can't deny there was a recession, but recovery has been strong. In 1960, we'll see a very high growth rate. Take any real actions to the exits. Okay, so this one's too conservative. This one's bashing our own administration. This one seems too liberal. This one seems right. Okay, the game didn't tell me anything, but looks to be doing fine. Yeah, 377 right now. Doing pretty good. There was a recent effort in Congress to pass a program to provide medical care to the elderly, but it was narrowly defeated. This program is a good starting point, but I would much prefer national health care. We're not going to say that as Richard Nixon. Redouble our efforts, able to afford health care. This program would represent a massive new financial commitment to the government. I prefer a slightly different program offering health insurance to the elderly that they can choose to purchase. The proposed program was mandatory and also covered only those covered by Social Security. I think this is the answer we gotta go with. This is right in line with the goals of your party. Nice. New York. Do you believe that the current levels of defense spending are adequate? Okay. Kennedy's whole thing is about defense, so it's got 3 answers here. I believe we need more vigilance in the area of defense for both military equipment and for missile development. We currently have a missile gap. That's kind of what Kennedy's saying, the missile gap. We can always find areas for improvement, but we have successfully defended the United States and our allies from numerous communist threats over the past 8 years. And the violence... Okay, we're not saying that. So we can kind of say we've done a good job, we're good where we're at. Or we can say we need more. I'm going to go with the more hawkish answer. It is 1960, so America's very hawkish right now. Kind of already moved away from Korea, creeping towards Vietnam. Eisenhower's furious that you would join the Democrat in repeating the inaccurate missile gap allegation. It did help me a little bit in New York, by the looks of it. Is the United States adequately prepared to defend against the Soviet threat today? Cuba has been lost to the Soviet Union, providing a potential base for communist aggression on the very doorstep of our nation. I'm very unsatisfied. I don't want to say that, because that's like bashing our own administration. I'm satisfied. We can never be fully satisfied, but we have held our own. Yes. This is a good answer that supports the record and policies of yourself and Eisenhower. Oof, nice. Yeah, nice. Let's go to California. Do you believe the United States is adequately prepared to defend against the Soviet threat over the next... Didn't you just ask me this question? We have a missile gap and an overly tight monetary policy that is constraining our growth. I don't know if things are going well for now, but we have many challenges to meet. Cuba, Lebanon, Latin America. We don't want to sound like we're getting complacent with defense. I guess we'll go with this one. I don't know, to be frank. No, it is... Oh, but it also offends Eisenhower. Okay, well, that was... It did hurt me too, but we're actually really close in Connecticut. Seems to be the same. Yeah, went up a lot. Southern Republicans are insisting that you visit the region extensively during this campaign, claiming that Kennedy will be vulnerable in some states. What are your thoughts? You sure about that, guys? Are you sure he's vulnerable? Doesn't look like it to me. Yeah. I think our best chances here will be coming from the Midwest and the Northeast. Some of the South, but you need all help you can get in other regions. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Rockefeller's the running mate. We're kind of running a everywhere but the South strategy. We're close in Tennessee and Maryland. I wouldn't consider really Maryland the South. Less than 10 points in Texas, but probably not. At a campaign stop today in Harlem, your running mate Nelson Rockefeller seemed to promise that your administration would propose extensive civil rights legislation. Do you stand by this statement? We're already not going to win the South, so I mean, I say we just go all in. Absolutely. The statement was made with full support of our campaign. If you want harmony in your campaign, you'd be well advised to agree with the statements of Rockefeller. Okay, helps me a bit in the North. The South is not going to like it, but who cares? The South thing isn't going for me anyway. To what extent will you make your experience as vice president a theme? This theme needs to be a key centerpiece of our campaign. Our current president is widely popular. Yeah. No advice. We're kind of slipping in some states. Yeah, Kennedy's gaining a lot with the popular vote. We're still destroying him in the electoral vote. Anti-Catholicism has been a huge issue thus far in the campaign, with hundreds of pamphlets and leaflets being distributed across the South and Midwest. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it. It's best to stay clear of the Catholicism issue. Anybody who thinks it's important in this election already knows it. Oof, that was nice. Why is Nebraska randomly, like, the most red state? Nebraska and Vermont. And Kansas, for some reason. Should the United States apologize to the Soviet Union? No, we're not doing that. Alright, let's see. New York. Did Dwight Eisenhower do the right thing when he sent federal troops to Little Rock to ensure integration in the high school? I guess if we're trying to run like a more full civil rights campaign, we should probably just keep going on like the left side of that. He absolutely did, and I would like to see further action to desegregate our schools and enforce civil rights. Yeah, that's going to keep the North kind of just like solidly in our favor. Tennessee, we're really close. We're only 3 points behind. Not that we really need Tennessee, but it'll be a nice bonus. There have been a large number of sit-ins recently where black students and activists are sitting at white-only lunch counters and department stores to advocate for desegregation. This movement has my full support, as do other civil rights measures of our day. I will push for a Civil Rights Act as president. Okay, it kind of didn't do very much. We're very close to New York. Anti-Catholicism continues to be an issue. Major newspapers have published a statement by 150 Protestant clergy, including Norman Vincent Peale, opposing any Catholic as president. Nah. Let's stay clear. Yep. Alright. Okay. The debates. You know what? It's gonna be dumb. What if we just don't go? But I advise you to avoid the debate with Kennedy, and you accept that advice. There's a little upset that you want to appear, but it could always be worse. Okay, that didn't do us very much. Currently, what are we in, a deadlock? New York kind of flipped, but it didn't hurt me that badly, all things considered. Ugh, Missouri and Illinois. Okay, never mind. It hurt us pretty badly. During the Great Depression, the federal began on farm subsidies to target specific output crops. Are these policies still necessary? I think these programs need to be phased out over time, but in such a way that we don't bring sudden instability to our nation's foreign policy. They're absolutely necessary. We have too much. We'll kind of go the middle answer. Issues aren't important as they used to be, but some do still depend on these subsidies. Okay, we're kind of clawing back at it. We're back up to 307. I think we're losing the popular vote, though. Yeah, well, popular vote doesn't matter. It's America. Has the United States adequately defended against the communist threat in China? Would you support further action? We need to make sure we don't overextend ourselves into new regions where the situation is not warranted. Okay, so this is kind of considering about Vietnam. And in 1960, America was very anti-communist and very hawkish. So Vietnam is kind of very popular, at least intervention in Indochina. So I believe we need to defend South Vietnam at all costs, whatever commitment of our force that entails. This is the kind of aggressive stance that the American people want to hear. Yeah, y'all don't know what's coming in like 10 years, but that's future us problem. Currently, the highest income tax bracket pays a rate of 91% when you work harder to cut taxes. We need to cut this rate substantially. It's way too high. I'll be open to this depending on how the economy goes. Just kind of don't give an answer. Not a high priority. We need to create holding. That's okay. That's kind of the Kennedy answer. I think we just maybe open it, depending on how things go. Oh wow! Oh wow! We're really clawing back. Okay, so not going to the debate. People didn't like that, but we're clawing back. Back to 377. What is your opinion on the current level of education funding in the United States? Would you increase federal education funding even if it meant higher taxes? I'm not satisfied with how well teachers are being paid, and I encourage local jurisdictions to address this issue further. We need to strike a good balance in this regard. Education is a key front in our battle with communism. That includes adequate pay. I would support additional federal. That's kind of, so we need to minimize even block grants. I think we kind of go with a little bit with the supportive, but the more kind of conservative supported local governments kind of handle that. Oh, that did not help us at all. The government did not like, the U.S. did not like that. Do you support a minimum wage of $1.25? Some exceptions for small businesses. Such a measure was recently defeated in Congress. So I don't know what it says our current minimum wage is sufficient in my opinion. I don't actually know what the minimum wage was at this time. I believe minimum wages are very bad. I guess we'll just kind of go the middle answer. Like, with a lead, I kind of don't really want to take a risk. It's working pretty well. We're holding pretty well. As long as we don't, like, lose New York, Illinois, and California. I think we really just need to win 2 of those, or 1 of them even. How serious at the current time do you believe the internal communist threat is? It's unfortunate that we've become less vigilant on the internal threat. In recent years, espionage and infiltration of our government is a serious threat to the Soviets. We should always be concerned about internal subversion, but the external Soviet threat should be our main prior focus. The last thing we need is a return to the excess. Okay, so we say we don't like addressing internal communism. We should be more focused on it, or we can just toe the line, toe the middle, Nixon, because we're kind of winning right now. We have to win 2 of them. We have to win 2 of these states. Go to Illinois. Alright, recently Martin Luther King was arrested in a sit-in in Atlanta and has now been sentenced to 4 months in prison for failing to get a Georgia driver's license after moving to that state. Do you have any comment or action you would like to take? Let's make a call to Miss King to offer our condolences and let's demand the release. You and Kennedy are both making public statements, and it seems like people outside the South are generally upset at King's imprisonment for such a trivial offense. Oh, man. Oh, no, it's going to be close. Okay, he's winning. He just needs to win 1 of these big states. Eisenhower, New York. Let's go to New York. Ooh, we also got... Obviously, this helps in New York, but you're also getting a little bump nationally from the popularity. Okay. Whew. Kennedy had us there for a bit, but people love Eisenhower too much. And what'd you go to New York? Everything is going well except for an unfortunate incident in Texas, which is giving Lyndon Johnson some good publicity there. Good luck tonight. All right, boys. Let's see how this goes. Can we flip it? We need 269 to win. I don't know where the extra electoral vote came in real life. Was that DC? Was that the implementation of DC? I have no idea. Georgia, obviously going for Kennedy. The most of the South is going to go for Kennedy. I think it was Byrd in Mississippi. That was the only one, but there are a lot of the safe red states. Indiana, Vermont, Rhode Island going blue. Here's more the South. Went Ohio, which is nice. Maine, more southern states that don't really matter. Byrd has 6 electoral votes somehow. I don't even know how that's possible. Currently trailing. Pennsylvania came in. Kind of forgot to mention that. Man, remember the time when New England was a swing district? We lost Connecticut. It was competitive for a little bit. Won Maryland, New Jersey, all the Midwest. Illinois goes red. Alright, so we just need, I think, the rest of the farm states, and I think we got it. Yes, you won this year's election. Nice. New York goes red. We'll kind of see what the rest of the map looks like here as the states come in. Popular vote is extremely close. Did we win California? That's going to be the question here. Won pretty much everything else. 342. Yep. Alright, so that's 100%. Man, look how close. 50.3 to 49.2% of the popular vote. Congratulations, you have won the 1960 presidential election. With luck, you will be able to duplicate the 8 years of peace and prosperity under Eisenhower. Unfortunately, the Democrats maintain their majority in both houses of Congress. With luck, they will be good partners in a bipartisan governing coalition. Your first order of business is to mend fences with Lyndon Johnson, who is returning to his role as Senate Majority Leader. Take a look at the actual results. This is the results from our game. 377 electoral votes for Nixon, 33.8 million votes, 50.3% of the popular vote. John F. Kennedy, 146 to 33.1% million to 49.2%. Byrd is whatever. As you can see, the historical result here, we won way larger than what Kennedy beat Nixon in real life. We both got less actual votes, so Harry Byrd, I guess, we kind of lost like 2 million votes somewhere in there. But yeah, ended up winning pretty nicely in this election. Alright, so that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Leave a comment on what election you would like to see in the next video, and I will try and fix the upload schedule. Adios, everybody.